That is down to Mr. Steck. He came up with the name after that. It was after the first video and then the second video went online. He came up with the idea kind of like just off the top of his head, like we're a group and we're an underwater band and we're called the Tank Bangers. It's like, okay, we're the Tank Bangers, and that's kind of just stuck with us. But ironically, it does have some kind of meaning. If while you're working as a dive guide in any part of the world, you'll find this anywhere. The dive guide, if a dive guide sees something he's not quite happy about, for example, you've got a couple of guests, they're down there, they're trying to take a photograph, but they're actually kneeling on the coral. One of the things that a tank banger, or that a dive guide will do, is he'll get their attention, and one of the ways to do that is by banging on your tank.
Right.
And then they'll go, well, what? And then at that point, the dive guide can say, get your hands off the coral.
Right.
Or don't touch that turtle, get your hand out of that hole, leave that moray eel alone, that kind of thing. So, yeah, there's a meaning to it now, which was never there before, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that makes sense. I mean, essentially what you're trying to do is you're gaining attention from people, and you're essentially banging on your tank saying, hey, you know, we have something to say. And
absolutely right, yeah.
Yeah. Listen up. This is, and we do it in a very fun way. Just to let people know, if you haven't seen the videos, you have to go on this Facebook group. Like this Facebook group and take a look at these videos because they're very entertaining and the scenery is just amazing. But now you mentioned earlier, you know, as an instructor in diving for years, you've seen sort of the degradation of certain sites. What have you seen in particular that really stands out as a dive instructor?
The thing for me that stands out the most is there's a particular dive site that I used to love going to, and it was a very easy dive site, accessible by all levels of divers, from people doing discover scuba diving right the way up to dive master courses and everything in between. It was a dive site called Master Breaker, and it was inside the Ras Mohammed National Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful scenery, beautiful backdrop. You've got like a slopey standing reef and lots of coral pinnacles all the way around. And in quite a few places you've got some magnificent, huge, great table corals. Table corals which are really, really delicate. And there's one in particular which was, it was a beautiful glassfish pinnacle. It used to come right up, surrounded by glassfish. And right at the top of it, kind of sticking out at this kind of funny angle, there's a huge, great table coral. It's about 4 feet across, just right the way across this, the top of this pinnacle. And it got knocked off. And the next time we went, the day after, it was just lying on the floor in pieces. And that was just, I mean, there's that particular example. There's loads of other examples.
Right. But sorry, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
That got knocked off by another diver, or?
I can only imagine so. Yeah, it would be. I would find it very hard to believe that it could have been knocked off in any other way, really.
Right.
Unless perhaps a dolphin jumped on it, or I don't know. But it would make more sense that is what happened. Yeah.
Okay. And now, do you see that happen? Maybe not such a magnitude, but do you see that happen a lot when divers go up? Maybe new divers who are unaware, or other divers who just don't care. Do you see that happening a lot, or is it more of a every once in a while?
No, to be honest, not so much these days. Not so much these days. There is divers with kind of marine advocates. Really, that's
right.
It's our passion. That's where we spend our time, and of course, all of us want to be involved in helping to protect it. So diving practice, I think, have come a long way, and that is probably down a lot in no small part to dive guides being more environmentally aware. Some of the courses that we teach now, it's actually a requirement that you involve an environmental briefing in part of your dive briefing or part of the course that you're teaching. So you're educating at all levels. So yeah, I think that the standard of people being more aware of where their fins are and not to lie in the coral like that has improved a lot.
Yeah, good. Now, one question I've always been curious about tank members is, why did you go the route of starting a Facebook group and not a website?
Facebook, I think, is a massively useful tool to reach out to people. I mean, the concept is mind-boggling. You've got so many people that can connect to you. It's a really, really good tool for getting a message across in a social media, a social network. Also, it was a lot easier to set up than a website, which we will hopefully at some stage get set up. But it was just somewhere very, very convenient and very, very easy for us to set up. That also had a lot of resources behind it that many, many people could join and be a part of.
Right.
but didn't really require a lot of resources on our point to set it up in the first place.
Okay. Now, and how did I mean when I first joined? I think there was maybe I think there was maybe 200, 300 people. How did you get up so fast? Was it through your network or?
Yeah, that still boggles my mind, actually. I mean, we, myself and Nick would have people within our own friends group that we thought might be interested in that sort of thing. I mean, I didn't just add everybody in my in my friends list because people would go, oh, hang on, this is great, but don't want to be part of that.
Yeah.
But then once everybody else got on there, then word quickly spread that, hang on, I've added you, and then you've got friends that are like-minded as well, and you add them. Before we knew it, we were up to getting on for nearly 3,000 people, and it's like, this has happened like more or less overnight. And there's a lot of people joining this, and it was just really nice to see. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing that I've seen is not only do you have a lot of people, like I've seen groups and I've seen fan pages and all these things that they have a lot of numbers, but they don't get a lot of comments or feedback on the group. But your group, it's constant. Like I see on especially on the videos, you're up to sometimes up to 27 and more comments,
Absolutely.
and the various comments, some are, great video, but others are looking really into it and really starting that conversation. And sorry, go ahead. Is that something that you guys started? Or?
That's a really cool thing about the group and what it's becoming and what it's turning into. People do get involved, and people don't feel that they can't get involved. I mean, something gets posted up. I mean, one of the really cool things that has happened is people will spot something from another particular source on the internet, and they'll go, guys, look at this. And then all of a sudden we're all over it, and petitions are being signed and stuff like that. So it's really, really great in that respect. And it is nice that people don't feel that they can't comment. I mean, everybody on that group we all have the same goals and the same ambitions. We all care. Yeah. And so it's a place that we can all be heard. So that's a really cool thing.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. So, you've got the videos, and this video project is coming out. It was what day in September was it coming out? I think
Nick's hate me for saying this. September 2nd.
September 2nd. You guys made a post. That's why I said it. You guys made a post. So I think
absolutely. We made a post. Nick was umming and ahhing for a little bit more time. We are going to get it done by September the 2nd. He said end of August, so I thought I was being quite nice by September. But hopefully once that video is out, I won't go into too much about what that particular... It is obviously, it's a new video.
Right.
And the video is going to be called My Blue.
Okay.
So you might see a lot of stuff on the group reference My Blue. Basically, that's what the new video is going to be. And there is going to be much more of a hard-hitting message with that video. But yet, it's still going to be along the lines of the first two videos. There's still going to be a huge comedy element in there. But there is a very, very serious message with this particular video.